Today's hearing on nationwide injunctions opened with a fiery statement from Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, who accused the Trump administration of what he called unprecedented lawlessness and Republicans of deep hypocrisy. Whitehouse argued that courts are not obstructing Donald Trump, but responding to illegal executive actions at a historic pace. He also warned that attacks on judges and their families now pose a direct threat to judicial independence. The debate sets up a broader clash over the rule of law, judicial authority, and the growing politicization of the federal courts.
When I chaired the subcommittee on federal courts, we held hearings on the influence on our judiciary of dark money from the fossil fuel industry and from creepy billionaires. My Republican colleagues weren't interested in helping solve that problem, but those hearings were based on facts. Years of financial disclosures showed a secret billionaire gifts program for amenable Supreme Court justices. Written evidence suggested a justice may have failed to pay taxes on a $270,000 loan that was forgiven, and that false statements were made about a yacht. A mountain of evidence revealed President Trump outsourced to billionaires and their dark money fixer Leonard Leo the selection of his judges and Supreme Court justices, which President Trump admitted just last week. Apparently, Leo also, and I'm quoting Trump here, openly brags about controlling the judges his creepy billionaires got appointed. This hearing will be different. A lot of hypocrisy about nationwide injunctions against the Trump administration after Republican colleagues cheered the nationwide injunctions that courts issued against the Biden administration. Indeed, some colleagues filed lawsuits asking for nationwide injunctions against the Biden administration. But now they're shocked that there are nationwide injunctions. Here are some facts everyone should bear in mind during this hearing. Fact number one. Donald Trump's administration is engaged in unprecedented lawlessness, period. In less than 5 months, President Trump has issued almost as many executive orders as President Biden did during 4 years in office. Many are flat out on their face illegal, as any first-year law student could tell you. Trump tried to end 14th Amendment birthright citizenship. He tried to punish law firms' First Amendment rights to associate with his perceived political enemies. His fossil fuel minion at OMB, Russ Vought, withheld millions of dollars that Congress had appropriated under Article 1. More than 20 years ago, originalist icon Scalia wrote about how illegal that is. The madcap pace and roughshod lawlessness of Trump's executive actions mean district judges across the country are striking them down, not because of judicial obstruction, because he is breaking the law. Hearings like this prop up a narrative that bad courts are stopping dear leader Donald Trump because some cabal of Democratic judges is out to get him. Wrong. The reality is much simpler. He's breaking the law and doing it a lot, and judges are doing their job. It's not just me saying that. Trump-appointed judges from across the country have struck down his illegal actions, holding, for instance, that Trump can't punish the AP for its reporting, that his misuse of the Alien Enemies Act is illegal, and that the administration can't withhold billions of appropriated public health funds. Trump judges. Hardly a liberal conspiracy. As it tries to prop up Trump's illegal orders, the MAGA Justice Department is fast destroying its reputation with judges who've said about DOJ arguments, bad faith, shoddy, an admitted lack of any evidence whatsoever, deliberate evasion. Shocking not only to judges, but to the intuitive sense of liberty that Americans far removed from courthouses still hold dear. And the prospect of contempt findings looms. Fact number two, failing in court, Donald Trump and his allies attack judges and their families. Trump has called judges who ruled against him communists, USA-hating, and monsters. A Republican in Congress put up a wanted poster with judges' faces outside his office. Elon Musk and Laura Loomer have used X to fire up the right wing's flying monkeys about judges, even adding photos of family members in a seemingly coordinated campaign to harass and intimidate. A test is coming of MAGA Attorney General Bondi. Will she let the Marshal Service investigate these threats and their orchestration? There's plenty of predication to look into conspiracy, aiding and abetting, or RICO enterprise liability. Will she let them? Which brings me to fact number 3. In a 6-week period from March through April, 162 judges received threats to themselves or family members of harassment or violence. 162. A pattern was evident. Many had ruled against Trump and then were targeted. The latest tactic is a campaign to send pizzas to judges or family members' homes using the name of the murdered son of a federal judge. It's not clear yet who is behind that campaign, but it's not hard to figure out the message. Stop ruling against Trump or else. These attacks have gotten so bad that the Chief Justice issued a statement, and the Judicial Conference formed a Judicial Security and Independence Task Force. Now I'd like to see some sign that the threats are being duly investigated. To the extent that this hearing encourages that animus further, it is deeply regrettable.
Whitehouse's central argument is simple but forceful. Courts are intervening more often because the Trump administration is breaking the law more often. He frames nationwide injunctions not as partisan tools, but as necessary legal breaks on what he describes as a flood of unlawful executive actions, ranging from attempts to end birthright citizenship to withholding congressionally appropriated funds. This flips the Republican narrative. Instead of activist judges, Whitehouse argues we're seeing reactive judges responding to executive excess. A key rhetorical move is the charge of hypocrisy. Republicans celebrated and even sought nationwide injunctions during the Biden administration. Now condemn the same judicial mechanism when used against Trump. This is politically effective because it relies on recent, documented behavior, not ideological theory. It positions the hearing itself as less about legal doctrine and more about partisan convenience. Whitehouse revisits a long-running concern of his: the influence of billionaire money in judicial selection and ethics. Key allegations include a secret gifts network benefiting Supreme Court justices, possible tax violations involving forgiven loans, false disclosures related to luxury assets, outsourcing of judicial selection to Leonard Leo, explicitly linked to Trump's own recent statements. This section broadens the debate from Trump's conduct to systemic integrity of the judiciary, suggesting long-term institutional damage rather than isolated scandals. Perhaps the most legally significant point. Whitehouse emphasizes that Trump-appointed judges have struck down Trump-era actions. Examples cited: retaliation against the Associated Press, misuse of the Alien Enemies Act, withholding of public health funds. This undermines claims of a liberal judicial cabal and reinforces the idea that legal norms, not ideology, are driving decisions. Whitehouse escalates by attacking the Department of Justice itself, quoting judges who have described DOJ arguments as bad faith, shoddy, unsupported by evidence. This is unusually severe language for judicial opinions and signals a broader concern. Institutional trust is eroding, not just political goodwill. The mention of looming contempt findings raises the stakes significantly. The most alarming portion is factual, not rhetorical. 162 judges threatened in 6 weeks. Targeting patterns linked to rulings against Trump. Harassment campaigns involving judges' families. Disturbing symbolic intimidation, including pizza deliveries invoking a murdered judge's son. Whitehouse frames this as an existential threat to judicial independence, not merely online harassment. The open question he leaves hanging, whether the Attorney General will authorize full investigations, adds political tension and future accountability. Whitehouse's statement is less a debate opener and more a prosecutorial closing argument, aimed at history as much as today's hearing. Whether one agrees with his conclusions or not, the facts he highlights point to 3 undeniable realities. Courts are increasingly central to checking executive power. Judicial legitimacy is under coordinated political and social attack. The fight over nationwide injunctions is really a fight over who gets to define the rule of law. For viewers, this is not just about Trump or Biden, it's about whether the judiciary can remain independent under sustained political pressure.